So when I was younger, we would have a computer science or ICT class at school. It was basically just an excuse to have kids messing around with computers for around an hour so you could like teach them how to type and such. But besides the classes that revolved entirely around drawing random things in MS Paint, sometimes we'd be taught about Photoshop, Adobe Flash, Adobe Fireworks, and Scratch, which incidentally is also based off Adobe Flash, but not anymore. My point is that as a child, my first exposure to Adobe stuff was at school, and I have fond memories of discovering all the features in Photoshop and Flash and Fireworks, rest in peace. But most of that awe and wonder can probably be attributed to nostalgia. No, Adobe software, especially in its modern reincarnations, is just plain awful. I began using more and more Adobe software around a year ago when I started making, well, more and more videos. And looking back at the experience, it was generally painful. So let me tell you all about why you should probably avoid Adobe software at all costs. Let me tell you about the Adobe pain. So let's begin with the elephant in the room, so that obviously being Photoshop, it's the most popular Adobe software and quite possibly the first thing you think of when you think Adobe. And I'ma be honest, I've seen all the features in Photoshop and they seem pretty cool, but you probably don't need it if you're getting into photo editing and, you know, making thumbnails for a crappy channel or something. I do understand why so many professionals love Photoshop. It has so many features that other software can't even come close to replicating, and I find that a little bit scary. I don't know about you, but seeing Photoshop being able to take things perfectly out of the image and select them flawlessly just sort of creeps me out. How is it doing that? The reasons I don't use Photoshop is A, it would perform really bad, B, it's just a generally incredibly large program, and C, it doesn't run on Linux. Oh, and also it costs money. So now on to Adobe Illustrator. Now I do a lot of stuff with vectors, mostly because I make icons and stuff for my channel, and that has to be done in vector. And to be honest, you can easily get away with just using Inkscape for literally every single Adobe Illustrator feature. Vector editing in general is just this universal thing. The only thing you can really come up with is, I don't know, extra brushes. And then again, that's sort of a niche thing because most people don't use vector for drawing, they use it for icons and stuff. Now in terms of performance, Adobe Illustrator runs pretty well. But like the rest of the Adobe suite, it's quite a large program, yet it still doesn't really have any killer features, so Inkscape is what I use. Alright, on to Acrobat Pro. Oh, this is a funny one. Now, editing PDFs, you're not really supposed to do that. Like, the point of a PDF is that it's printable, but if you really do have to edit a PDF, then just open it in LibreOffice Draw. It can open PDFs and you can export it to PDFs, and yeah, it works pretty well. Now moving on to Adobe Animate, which was previously known as Adobe Flash, the software you use to make those crappy stickman animations. And I'm gonna be honest, I find it hard to find a proper replacement for Adobe Animate, mostly because something like OpenToonz, sure, it's got all the features and many more while still being more lightweight and performing better, but it just lacks that Adobe user experience. And no, by Adobe user experience, I don't mean crashing all the time and just generally being an awfully unstable program. I mean genuinely being easy to use, easy to understand, and just sort of feeling like a friendly program. But then considering the fact that it costs a subscription fee and all that stuff, then please just stick to OpenToonz. Fun fact, OpenToonz was made in the city that I was born in. Yay. Now moving on to Premiere Pro. Oh god. It's known as one of the most professional and just generally praised video editors, while at the same time everybody hates it. I used to use Adobe Premiere Pro to edit a lot of my videos, and the experience is not fun. I know it's sort of a meme that, oh, Premiere crashes all the time, but it really does. You see, for reasons I don't fully understand, loads of Adobe software is really antiquated, and Premiere Pro is the ultimate example. It's a relatively CPU-heavy program, a notorious property of more antiquated software. On one hand, you have Premiere Pro with all this poor playback performance and all these crashes. Then we move on to the other hand with DaVinci Resolve with this flawless playback, free price tag, and just everything is included. Because DaVinci Resolve includes both an audio and effects editor, while also being free. And speaking of effects editor, Adobe After Effects. If Satan himself showed up and played a sick practical joke on the software industry, it would be Adobe After Effects. I'll try to keep this short. It performs horribly, it crashes all the time, and most importantly, its user interface, it was designed by the same people who make MMORPGs. It makes America's worst hoarders look less cluttered. That's all I'll really say about Adobe After Effects. If you need a good replacement, either use Blender or DaVinci Resolve's Fusion. Oh wait, I almost forgot the one little piece that finishes this unholy trinity of video software. Adobe Media Encoder. Now, to be honest, I've never had issues with Adobe Media Encoder. It's never crashed on me, it never really performed horribly. My question is, why does this exist? I could just be using FFmpeg, so at least it comes bundled free with Premiere or After Effects. So that's pretty much it in terms of Adobe software that I've ever used. I just really wanted to make a video illustrating all the downsides of using Adobe software. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.